On a barren island called Patmos, John, a devoted follower of Jesus, found himself exiled. This island, with its rugged terrain and isolated location, was a place of solitude and reflection. John, who had been a pillar of the early Christian community, was sent here because of his unwavering commitment to his faith and his refusal to renounce his beliefs. He was there for his unwavering faith. Despite the harsh conditions and the loneliness, John remained steadfast in his devotion. He spent his days in prayer and contemplation, finding solace in his connection with God. It was on this desolate rock that John received extraordinary visions. These were not ordinary dreams or fleeting thoughts, but profound and vivid revelations that would shape the future of Christianity. These visions formed the book of Revelation, the last book of the New Testament. This book, filled with rich symbolism and prophetic imagery, has been a source of inspiration and intrigue for believers throughout the centuries. The year was likely around 95 AD. During this time, the Roman Empire was at the height of its power, and Christians were often persecuted for their faith. The Roman Empire, known for its persecution of Christians, cast a shadow over the early followers of Jesus. The empire's vast reach and influence made it a formidable force, and those who chose to follow Christ often did so at great personal risk. John's visions were not meant to frighten. Instead, they were intended to offer comfort and hope to those who were suffering. They were a reminder that despite the trials and tribulations they faced, they were not alone. They were a message of hope and encouragement. John wanted his fellow believers to know that their faith was not in vain and that there was a greater plan at work. He wanted to reassure Christians that despite their suffering, God was in control. This message was crucial for those who were facing persecution and hardship, as it provided them with the strength to endure. He wanted them to know that good would ultimately triumph over evil. This promise of ultimate victory was a beacon of hope in a time of darkness. The book of Revelation is a complex and symbolic work. Its rich tapestry of images and metaphors has been the subject of much study and interpretation over the years. It has fascinated and challenged readers for centuries. Scholars and theologians have pored over its pages, seeking to understand its deeper meanings and implications. It speaks of a cosmic battle between God and Satan. This epic struggle between good and evil is a central theme of the book, and it resonates with readers on a profound level. It promises the ultimate victory of good over evil. This assurance of triumph is a source of great comfort and inspiration for believers. This is a story about the end of the world as we know it. The apocalyptic imagery and dramatic visions paint a picture of a world in turmoil and transition. But it's also about the beginning of something new and glorious. The book of Revelation ends with a vision of a new heaven and a new earth, a place of peace and joy where God dwells with his people. This vision of a new beginning offers hope and reassurance to all who read it, reminding them that no matter how dark the present may seem, a brighter future awaits. John begins Revelation by addressing 7 churches in Asia Minor, which is modern-day Turkey. These churches were located in key cities of the region, each with its own unique challenges and circumstances. The letters were meant to address specific issues within these communities, but their messages resonate far beyond their original recipients. These letters are not just for them. They transcend time and place, offering guidance and wisdom to all Christians throughout history. The words penned by John are as relevant today as they were in the first century. They are for all Christians, urging them to remain faithful in the face of persecution. In times of trial and tribulation, these letters serve as a beacon of hope and a call to steadfastness. They remind believers that their faith is not in vain and that perseverance will be rewarded. These letters are both encouraging and challenging. They offer praise for the strengths and virtues of the churches, but they also do not shy away from pointing out their flaws and areas in need of improvement. This duality is essential for growth and spiritual maturity. They commend the churches for their perseverance. The letters acknowledge the hardships and sacrifices made by the believers, recognizing their efforts to stay true to their faith despite external pressures and internal struggles. They also warn them against complacency and false teachings. The letters caution against becoming too comfortable or allowing misleading doctrines to take root. Vigilance and discernment are crucial in maintaining the purity of the faith. Ephesus had abandoned its first love. Smyrna endured persecution. Each church had its own set of challenges. Ephesus, once fervent in its love and devotion, had grown cold and distant. Smyrna, on the other hand, faced severe persecution but remained steadfast. Pergamum faced compromise with pagan beliefs. Thyatira tolerated idolatry. Pergamum struggled with the temptation to blend their Christian faith with the surrounding pagan practices, while Thyatira allowed idolatrous influences to infiltrate their community. Sardis had fallen asleep spiritually. Philadelphia remained faithful. Sardis, despite its reputation for being alive, was spiritually dead and needed to wake up. Philadelphia, though small and seemingly insignificant, remained faithful and true to its calling. Laodicea was lukewarm in its faith. The church in Laodicea was neither hot nor cold, but lukewarm, which made it ineffective and displeasing. This serves as a stark warning against half-hearted commitment. These letters are a reminder that the Christian life is a battle. The journey of faith is fraught with challenges and opposition, both from within and without. It requires constant vigilance and a readiness to stand firm. We must always be vigilant against the forces that seek to undermine our faith. Whether it be through external persecution or internal complacency, the threats to our spiritual well-being are ever present. Each church represents a different type of struggle. The diversity of issues faced by these early churches reflects the varied challenges that Christians encounter in their own lives. From external pressures to internal conflicts, the struggle is real and ongoing. John's message is clear. Wake up, be vigilant, and stand firm in your faith. This call to action is as urgent now as it was then. It is a wake-up call to all believers to remain alert, stay true to their convictions, and persevere in the face of adversity. John's visions transport us to the throne room of heaven. This is not just any ordinary place. It is the very heart of the divine realm, where the presence of God is most profoundly felt. The atmosphere is charged with a sense of awe and reverence, as if every particle of light and air is imbued with the holiness of the Almighty. Here, we witness the awe-inspiring majesty of God. His throne is not just a seat of power, but a symbol of his eternal reign and unending glory. The light that emanates from his throne is so radiant that it seems to pierce through the very fabric of reality, illuminating the darkest corners of the universe with divine truth and justice. He sits on a throne, surrounded by a rainbow and lightning. The rainbow, a symbol of his covenant and promise, arches over the throne, while lightning, representing his power and might, crackles around it. This juxtaposition of beauty and power serves as a reminder of God's multifaceted nature. He is both merciful and mighty, loving and just. 24 elders and 4 living creatures worship him ceaselessly. These elders, representing the fullness of God's people, and the living creatures, symbolizing all of creation, are in a state of perpetual adoration. Their worship is not just a duty, but a joyous response to the overwhelming presence of God. They cast their crowns before the throne, acknowledging that all honor and glory belong to him alone. This scene emphasizes God's sovereignty and power. Every element within the throne room, from the elders to the living creatures to the very architecture of the space, speaks of his supreme authority. It is a visual and spiritual testament to the fact that God is the ultimate ruler of all that exists, both seen and unseen. It reminds us that he is in control, even amidst the chaos and suffering on earth. No matter how turbulent our world may become, the throne room stands as a beacon of stability and order. It reassures us that God's plan is unfolding exactly as it should, and that he holds the reins of history firmly in his hands. This vision is not just a spectacle. It is a profound revelation meant to convey deep spiritual truths. It invites us to look beyond the surface and to understand the deeper meaning behind the imagery. Each element, each symbol, is a piece of a larger divine puzzle that reveals God's character and his intentions for humanity. It's a reminder that our ultimate allegiance belongs to God. In a world filled with competing loyalties and distractions, this vision calls us back to the core of our faith. It challenges us to examine where our true loyalties lie and to recommit ourselves to serving and worshipping the one who sits on the throne. We are called to join the chorus of praise and worship. The throne room is filled with the sound of unending praise, a celestial symphony that echoes through the heavens. This is not just the duty of the elders and living creatures, but a call to all of God's creation. We are invited to lift our voices and hearts in worship, joining the eternal song of adoration. We are reminded that our struggles are not in vain. The vision of the throne room offers us divine reassurance. It tells us that our faith, even when tested by trials and tribulations, is seen and valued by God. Our perseverance in the face of adversity is a testament to our trust in His promises. God sees our faithfulness and He will reward us. The throne room is a place of divine judgment and reward. It assures us that every act of faith, every moment of trust, is noted by God. He is a just and loving ruler who will reward His faithful servants in due time. This vision sets the stage for the dramatic events that follow. It is a prelude to the unfolding of God's ultimate plan for the world. The throne room serves as the backdrop for the apocalyptic events that are to come, reminding us that everything is under God's sovereign control. It reminds us that no matter how dark things may seem, God is still on His throne. In times of uncertainty and fear, this vision offers us hope and reassurance. It tells us that God's light shines brightest in the darkest times, and that His throne is unshakable. He is still in control. The throne room is a powerful reminder of God's unchanging nature. It tells us that no matter what happens in our lives or in the world, God's authority remains absolute. He is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, and His reign is eternal. One by one, a scroll with 7 seals is opened. Each seal unleashes a new wave of judgments upon the earth. These judgments are symbolic, representing the consequences of sin and rebellion against God. The first 4 seals release riders on horses. They symbolize conquest, war, famine, and death. The 5th seal reveals the souls of martyrs crying out for justice. The 6th seal brings cosmic disturbances, with the sun turning dark and the moon turning blood red. These seals are a stark reminder that our choices have consequences. They are a warning to turn from wickedness and seek God's mercy. The 7th seal is different. It's a period of silence in heaven. This silence is not emptiness. It's a pregnant pause, a moment of anticipation before the final outpouring of God's wrath.